On with the show.
Introduce them to what we are,
Yes.
what we're about to release upon the masses.
The homage to end all homages. Banned in 492 countries, we would like to bring you dire something witches.
Dire wit.
Diarrhea.
Wit.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, diarrhea.
Dire.
Yeah.
Dire. No, from Dire Wit Productions brings you Isle of the Damned, written by Mark Leake and directed by Mark Colgrove, with the score done by Mr. Paul Tice. And,
Beautiful score.
Yes. Special effects by Harry Potter's cousin Ian and Shane Vernest Van Nest, Esquire.
The third.
The fourth. It's
Fourth? Oh, I thought it was the third.
Oh,
Okay.
it was the third? Who knows?
Alright,
This is by far, I think, one of the best movies that we've had to check out.
like you said in the opening, the perfect fucking homage to
the Schlockfest.
to Schlockfest, to cannibal films, to the classics of the 70s and 80s, such as Cannibal Holocaust, Anthropophagus, and Cannibal Ferox, and many other movies.
Steel Magnolias.
And Steel Magnolias, and Kung Pao.
And Kung Pao. It will be significant.
It is significant.
And you know, and it does.
It is of significance.
Absolutely. You know, especially with the terrible dubbing that we're treated to.
The dubbing, is so bad, it's phenomenal.
Well, you know, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's tell them first what we liked about it. You know, we had opened this up, and you know, usually when we receive screeners, we really don't expect much off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, we're always a little hesitant, but as soon as we open up the main menu, we saw how professionally done it was.
Yeah, it was like throwing on one of these old school cannibal films that's re-released on DVD, and you're all excited to get that special edition.
Crazy lines with like
it's
cigarette burns.
It's just very grindhouse looking. It's got a great chapter selections, and special features. And the background score to everything was just perfect layout. We knew we were in for a treat when we threw this disc in the player.
Yeah, and and the film starts out with this, kind of disclaimer, and it's kind of gives like a little bit of history of how Antonio Giallo, the director, had to flee the country to go to South America because of the filming of this movie. It was alleged, some natives were abused,
right?
And he had to go to court to prove.
They had to bring in the actors from the film to prove that that they were actually alive and unharmed, unscathed.
Admittedly, I'm kind of embarrassed. I was like, if this is true, that's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? But I was totally fooled. And
the fact, what got me, I think, which is another beautiful homage, was using Antonio Giallo. His last name is Giallo.
I mean, yeah, that's perfect.
To use in a film that they're making fun of it, or not making fun of, but yeah, they are making fun of it, but at the same time saying how much they love the old Italian cinema and cannibal films and zombie films at that time, and it was.
It's perfect, and they take nothing seriously. Even in the credits, all the names are like just like these bullshit Italian names.
Yeah.
Like Diodecchio and Del Vecchio and Facula and Fonzanu. Well, I guess we're gonna have to tell them what it's about.
Yeah, I guess we get on to the movie.
Okay, well, basically, we have this character Jack, who you want to describe what he looks like, because I can't without losing it.
All right. Picture this. Horrible wavy blonde, kind of short wig, handlebar mustache, the old glasses. It's seriously your stereotypical a cannibal film character.
Enough to make a cold man sweat.
Yeah.
It's not hurting. Well, anyway, Jack is hired by this guy Thompson.
And it's obvious
to do.
Well, to go find the lost treasure of Marco Polo.
Now, Jack wouldn't otherwise take this assignment, except that he and his wife or girlfriend, whoever it is, took in this kid Billy. Now, Billy, mind you, was like this, I guess, like 20-something-year-old, 30-year-old guy.
Yeah, wearing a propeller hat.
He looks like fucking, Pinocchio. It's little rascals. You know what I mean? And the fucking dubbing is just so bad, but like so funny.
Yeah, if you could hear in the background,
Done that for much.
that's a little taste of the music and some of the dubbing. We have the film playing in the background just so maybe you guys can get a little taste of what we're talking about, how bad it is. Now this lead character he's talking about, to us it seemed a little obvious unless somebody's really good at doing a big black man's voice. It seemed a little obvious that this white man, ultimate white man's character was definitely dubbed with a black voice, unless it was just too good. Wham!
Wham! And you know, we didn't even mention the fact that he's like replete with this fucking Beretta brown leather jacket.
Right.
You know, and they're supposed to be in the jungles of South America.
Yeah, some shit. Yeah.
But it's Maryland, so you can see how close they look alike. I mean,
yeah.
Because like whenever I'm in Maryland, I'm like, dude, I'm in South America.
Yeah, if you watch this film, it is shocking that the entire thing was made in Maryland, and it looks like you're in the middle of the jungle. It looks like one of the old jungle movies. It's awesome.
Well, anyway, they take along this cast of characters with them. You know, like Scurvy Dan, the pirate.
The pirate, I love him.
Yeah, and you know, they start to encounter the resident cannibal savages of Maryland. Oh, sorry, South, wherever the fuck they are, and they start going after everybody.
Right.
You know, it's the Yama Yamas.
The Yama Yama tribe. The Yama Yama tribe, which seemed to be predominantly of a homosexual nature.
Oh, dude, like the homoerotic overtones in this movie they're so fucking outrageous.
They're not even overtones.
It's not even overtones.
It's right in your fucking face.
Yeah.
There's massive amounts of male anal rape, and just like.
Well, there's a tribute right away.
Oh yeah, here we go. A tribute to Cannibal Holocaust here. Is the classic impalement scene, which everybody knows about. You know, it's on the posters, on a lot of the DVDs. You know, it's the famous scene. You guys know what I'm talking about. But rather than it being a female, it's a male. And the same with the punishment for adultery.
It's all reversed.
It's all reversed onto the male side. To use this homosexual overtone was. It was hysterical. I'm not even going to use the word genius because it was just hysterical, and it was in its own right genius. It really was.
Yeah, and and if you have like a female friend that you want to, turn mute for an hour and a half, I would suggest throwing a penis at her.
Yeah. Cock to the face.
Because that seems to work.
Cock to the face. There's a nice little another homage to one of the classic cannibal films was the removal of a man's penis. But this time he gets thrown into a young woman's, his daughter's. It was his daughter, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
I think. Well, we also forgot the gutted victims who actually had the guts in his shirt.
You can tell that the intestines are piled inside the T-shirt, and all they did was cut the shirt open and pull the guts out. Awesome. Because you see this in so many of these kind of films, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's
the budget-wise and stuff like that. But the filming style itself really makes it shine.
It works. There's superior editing in this movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where they know exactly where to cut off.
Right.
They know what not to show you. But you know what you're watching anyway, and you don't give a shit. But but they did, and that's why I think that the production quality was so good in this.
It was fantastic. This is one of the I've liked. How God knows how many of these underground films that we've covered, and with our writing and with our talking, but all kidding aside, this is one of the best made.
Oh, hands down. Yeah,
that I have ever seen. Like production-wise, production value, filming quality, everything was one of the best made I have seen. It was non-stop laughter, and just it's a hell of a film to look at. It really.